fresh team of traders here for the floor show. Matt Cheslock, you're wiping the sweat off your brow on a crazy day. Tell us how it looks with about 14 minutes left of trade.
Well, it was kind of quiet sell-off. It really started middle of the day. We had a confluence of events, including the 10-year yield getting to 3. We had some earnings reports. Caterpillar seeing that massive reversal. And you start talking about commodity costs and infrastructure costs for all of these companies out there. So these one-time tax gains that these companies are getting aren't enough to offset forward-looking progress is for these companies. So that's why we're seeing this sell-off. We've tried to rally a couple times during the day here, but we're just not seeing any sustained buy orders going into the close.
I mean, all because Caterpillar is worried about, well, see, now, what did we hear from Gary Shapiro just now from the Consumer Electronics Association, Chris Robinson, that he pointedly, and we didn't know in advance that he was going to say this, but that the problem with tech, that's his world, is specifically the steel tariffs that he sees as a tax, and clearly it's become a tax on Caterpillar shares.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting, the announcement today that Secretary Mnuchin's going to go to China sometime in the next few days. And I actually think that's a positive thing, if they can get over there and do face-to-face talks, because that's what's spooking this market right now, I think, is the uncertainty about these tariffs moving forward.
I wrote down this quote earlier from President Trump, and I just want to read it to our viewers. He said, the U.S. will likely reach a trade agreement with China. Both sides will sit down and we will restart talks. So I think that is certainly something that plays into what could be a better line. So to that point, Scott Bauer, are we looking at a buying opportunity at this very moment because earnings have come in looking rather decent overall?
If you take that for face value, then yes, that should be a buying moment. Plus the news coming out earlier geopolitically about what he said about North Korea, that things were going, progressing along as well right now. So yes, that's a buying point. But with earnings, Liz, it's been such a crazy season. We've seen decent earnings. We've seen good reports. For the most part, guidance has been pretty good, but the market has really punished stocks. They've punished the financials. The biggest wonder to me, like you just mentioned, was Caterpillar, right? We started off, stock was up real nicely, and then the big drawdown today. That being said, it did come down to a very nice tech support area around that 144 level. We'll have to see if that holds. But you're right. I mean, I think you have to be really nimble. There are some buying opportunities out there, but I think you have to cut your stops really close. And also, Liz, I don't know if you've ever had one of those nectarine tarts, but I just had one in Barcelona. Yeah. They are awesome.
Okay, thanks a lot. Now I'm so annoyed because I love lemon tarts. I love nectarine tarts. I'll eat anything with that crust underneath it, plus fruit. Matt, I do have to ask you, going back to this Caterpillar situation, because I guarantee this is going to be the headline, certainly when it comes to possibly the Wall Street Journal tomorrow. I have no insight on that, but I'm guessing because it is the first major company to warn on this issue. We've had little guys for the past 2 weeks coming on and saying, Liz, we've endured 4 price hikes on the steel that we buy from U.S. steel makers in just the past couple of months. Is it too strong, or is it fair to say this is the first indication that steel tariffs might be backfiring?
Well, I mean, obviously, the market's telling you it's the first indication. You start looking at companies like Boeing. That Boeing had a nice reversal today to the downside, too. So that's another company that's going to be relying on steel. Wait till the automakers start, saying, what, we've got to get ahead of this. We've got to tell the public that this may start affecting our bottom line here a little bit. So, I would imagine that this has got legs to it, and this is just the start when the first company does it.
Well, I'm looking at GM right now. It's higher. Ford is slightly lower. Chrysler is slightly lower. I think you may be right, Matt, because they don't use steel, they use aluminum. The all-aluminum Ford F-150 has been a hot seller, but if that price goes up a couple $100, it was Wilbur Ross who said that's no big deal, but I don't know about that in certain areas of the country where, hey, who doesn't count every single dollar that they make?
Yeah, you got these nice tax cuts, right? Now that was hoping to spur the public on. If you're going to start raising it up, raising the price of the product and the price of fuel that uses that product, that takes away that tax cut, and you wouldn't see it really filter back into the market here.
Okay, all right. Hey, Matt Cheslock, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure. All right, we got everybody here. Scott, I will give you the last word. How do you think this ends? We've got about 8 minutes left of trade.
You know, this has been a sell first and a sell last market, really, meaning, you know, the first news out, it's the sell button. End of the day, we've seen obviously weakness because nobody wants to take a long position. If anything, they want to take, you know, short positions going into the end of the night. I don't see anything on the horizon here that changes that until maybe Trump meets with China, until we get some more clarity, because now all of a sudden,
China or North
now
Korea?
that concern. No, I'm talking about the tariff. I'm not even talking about North Korea. I'm talking about the tariff talk right now. So now that that is in the mix, now that he set that out there, that things may be going well, but the market is not reacting well to it, that's another big concern here. And that is almost taken front and center stage in my book here from earnings. The market should be trading on earnings. They should be trading on, you know, the good footing or poor footing, whatever the earnings may be, of that during the cycle right now. But to me, I'm very concerned about the tariff talk. I'm very concerned about what happened there with Caterpillar and with Boeing, and that could lead in the next couple weeks the market to a next leg lower.
Great to see you guys, Matt, Chris, and Scott.